Is the king of APS-C cameras finally getting a successor, or is Canon about to make a massive mistake? The rumors are flying, and the latest word is that the Canon EOS R7 Mark II is set to arrive as early as May 2026. But here's the catch. The specs we're hearing are sparking a huge debate among professional photographers. Some say it's the ultimate hybrid beast, while others fear it's becoming too much of a video camera and leaving photographers behind. Today, we're breaking down everything we know about the R7 Mark II, from the pixel count to the sensor tech and whether you should actually buy one or just stick with the R6 series. The rumor mill and testing, we've been waiting for this one. For a long time. While the R6 Mark III took the spotlight recently, the R7 Mark II has been lurking in the shadows. Interestingly, reports suggest that prototypes are already in the hands of select pros. They are putting this machine through its paces right now. If the May release date holds true, we might even see a development announcement at CP Plus later this month. This would be the star of the show for Canon, bringing back the excitement for the APS-C flagship line that started with the legendary 7D series. The sensor debate, high megapixels versus real-world use. The biggest rumor right now is a jump to a 39-megapixel CMOS sensor. Now, on paper, that sounds amazing. More detail, right? But as a photographer, I have to be honest. 39 megapixels on an APS-C sensor might be overkill. When you pack that many pixels into a small space, you hit diffraction limits much sooner. With the current R7, you start losing sharpness around f5.6. If they push it to 39 megapixels, you might see image degradation as early as f4 or f4.5. This makes the camera very picky about lenses. Unless Canon has some secret sauce in their new Digic processor, this high resolution could actually make the camera harder to use in everyday conditions. Speed and shutter limitations, one of the biggest. Complaints about the original R7 was the sensor readout speed. It wasn't slow, but it wasn't fast enough to stop rolling shutter distortion when using the electronic shutter. This meant you couldn't really use it for high-speed sports or birds in flight without sticking to the mechanical shutter. The Mark II is expected to boost speeds to 30 or even 40 frames per second. But if it isn't a stacked sensor, we're still going to face the same rolling shutter issues. My hope is for a back-illuminated sensor at the very least. If Canon sticks to a standard FSI sensor just to keep the price down, the electronic shutter will still be useless for flash photography, which is a huge deal-breaker for many pros. Is it a stills camera or a video rig? There's a growing feeling that Canon is prioritizing video over photography lately. Look at the recent R-series releases. They feel like 70% video tools and 30% stills cameras. With the R7 Mark II, rumors suggest Canon is pushing for 8K video capabilities to make it an entry-level 8K machine. They're even releasing dual fisheye lenses for VR that fit this sensor. While 8K sounds flashy, most photographers would prefer better low-light performance and dynamic range over high-resolution video features they might never use. If the R7 Mark II becomes too video-centric, it might lose the soul of what the 7 series used to be, a rugged, fast action stills powerhouse. Design, power, and storage on the bright side, the body is expected to get a significant upgrade. We're likely looking at a design that matches the R6 and R5 series. This means better ergonomics, a larger, clearer viewfinder, and, most importantly, dual CF Express card slots. Moving away from SD cards to CF Express is a game changer for clearing the buffer during burst shooting. It's also expected to use the same batteries as the R6 Mark III, making it a perfect second body for professionals who already shoot full frame. If the handling becomes identical to the R5 R6 line, the workflow will be seamless. The price trap here is the most important part: the price. The R6 Mark III has already seen a price hike. If the R7 Mark II comes in at a higher price than the current R6 Mark II, we have a problem. As much as I love the reach of an APS-C sensor for wildlife, if the price gets too close to full frame territory, I would tell almost anyone to buy the R6 Mark II instead. The full-frame sensor handles noise better, has more depth to the images, and is a proven workhorse. The R7 Mark II needs to find a sweet spot in pricing to be worth it. My final opinion, my best opinion on this product? If Canon delivers a 20-24 megapixel stacked sensor that can shoot silent, distortion-free images at 40 FPS, the R7 Mark II will be the best wildlife camera on the market. However, if they just chase megapixels in 8K video while using a slow sensor, it might be a disappointment for pure photographers. We want a mini R1, not a high-resolution video gadget. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'll be watching those CP Plus announcements very closely. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of Canon, make sure to subscribe to the channel, share the video with your fellow gearheads, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a leak or a review. What do you think? Is 39 megapixels too much for APS-C? Let me know in the comments below.